It's just that he has another opportunity to breathe and my children don't. So that's how I'm feeling now. You know, it's just like the womb has been opened up again and alcohol has been poured into that womb, and it hurts so because I want my babies with me. They did not deserve this.
Also new now at 5, Birmingham police asking for your help to find whoever shot and killed this young woman, Mia Nickson, back in January. Investigators say her family is hurting and pushing for justice in her case.
Our Tristan Rupert is live at 5 and on your side, talking with investigators about this case. Tristan, what can you tell us?
Police believe Mia Nickson was targeted, actually, and they say community help could be critical in them solving this case. I spoke with Birmingham police officer Truman Fitzgerald earlier today. He says detectives have looked into every single lead they could really concerning this case, and that a tip from the community could be critical in really cracking it wide open. Now, Officer Fitzgerald says Nickson was beloved, talented, and really excelling in the hair and nail field. He says Birmingham police won't stop searching for the person responsible for her death and stresses no matter the information, you need to come forward if you know something.
Nothing's too small. We know the streets are talking. We know Mia was extremely popular, but our detectives need that information. So anything you have, please call that into Crime Stoppers.
Remember, Crime Stoppers is a fully anonymous process. No matter what your information is, they never know your identity. And if you do provide information that leads to an arrest in this case, you could be eligible for a $5,000 reward. Reporting in Birmingham, Tristan Rupert, WBRC, Fox 6 News, on your side.
Mia Nickson wanted to own a salon. 21 years old. A chair full of clients who kept coming back. A real gift in her hands, and a dream she said out loud to anyone who would listen. She was a hairstylist and a nail technician out of Birmingham's Crestwood neighborhood. People trusted her with how they looked before they stepped out into the world, and she took that seriously. That kind of trust you earn. And she was good. Good enough that the salon she kept talking about never sounded like a fantasy. It sounded like a matter of time. She believed that. She had already lived through one night that should have been her last. She walked away from it. And somewhere in that long, slow recovery, she decided she had been kept here on purpose. That belief became the engine behind everything. Faith, work, a following online that watched a young woman from Crestwood turn a gift into a name people started to know. But a dream and the world you chase it in are not always the same place. Mia lived between two of them. One was the future she was building with her own two hands, slow, honest, hers. The other was the city around her, louder, faster, and far less forgiving than the chair she worked behind. Hi viewers, before we go any further, do you believe a person who survives the worst night of their life is spared for a reason? Yes or no? Drop one word in the comments, because Mia believed the answer was yes. She thought she had time. She thought the gift in her hands would carry her past everything else around her, past the noise, past the danger, past the version of her life that wanted to pull her under. She was 21. She had everything in front of her, and the road she could not stop walking was already turning toward the last night of it. Crestwood made her, and Crestwood watched her rise. Mia came up the way a lot of young people in Birmingham come up. No shortcuts handed to her. She built her client list one head at a time, one set of nails at a time, turning a skill into a reputation and a reputation into money. And the money showed. For a 21-year-old still growing a beauty business, the life she posted online started to outrun the math. Designer pieces, jewelry, photos where she held stacks of cash like a trophy. People noticed. People always notice. So the city started asking a quiet question. Where was it coming from? Nobody had a clean answer. And in the absence of an answer, the streets wrote their own. The whispers found a name for her. They called her a setup queen. The kind of person, the talk went, who lured men into situations that ended badly for them. Whether any of it was true or whether it was pure gossip with no foundation underneath, it never mattered to the people repeating it. The label stuck. That is the danger of a name like that. You do not get to approve it, and you cannot hand it back. Here is what made Mia's story heavier than the rumor, though. Two roads were forming under her feet. One was the builder, the girl with the gift, the salon dream, the honest future she could actually reach. The other was the lifestyle, the nightlife. The circles where being known and being a target are the same thing wearing different clothes. She was walking both at once. Most people can, for a while. But a name like the one they gave her does not just follow you through a city. In the wrong world, it can mark you. And long before her final night ever arrived, that mark had already found her once, at a red light, in her own car, with the engine running.
Okay, this is story time about how I got shot or whatever. So I was talking to this boy. We was talking for like a couple months or whatever. So he used to always be in my car, like ride around in my car. We used to always be together, riding around, stuff like that. So this day he told me to follow this dude so he can buy some pills. So we followed the dude so he could buy the pills. So we get done buying the pills. It's me, him, and his homeboy in the car. So soon as we like get to the red light, we was at the red light, like all we had to do was just turn around and boom, you at the red light from where we was. So we get to the red light. He trying to put the location in my phone so we can go to where we was finna go. So it was shooting, but I didn't think that they was like shooting like at us, because while they were shooting, they were driving up. So when they were far back, it just sounded like it was somewhere else. So when the bullets started coming through the car, that's when when the bullets started coming through the car, I hit the gas, but one of the bullets hit me. It went from the back of my head, through my ear, and across my face. So that, like, I heard a loud pop, and then, like, you know, the ringing that you hear in your ear, that's what I heard. Like, my ear just started ringing real loud, and I just blacked out. So once I blacked out, I crashed into a tree. So when I hit the tree, I went like this, like that's what woke, like, kind of can't let me come back to country. So I woke up, and instantly I just opened the door, and then his homeboy that was in the back seat, he jumped out, and I got out, but I instantly fell to the ground. And he was like, "Mia, get up," and I couldn't get up. Like, I don't know how long I was on the ground. Like, I just was unconscious. So that's when I just hop up. So when I hop up, I open the back door, and I laid in the back seat for like 2 seconds, but then I remembered that he was in my front seat. So I jump up, and I'm looking for my phone. I'm just looking for my phone. So I find his phone, and I'm screaming his name. I'm like, I can't say his name, but you know, like, I'm just screaming his name. I'm like, "What's your password? What's your password? I got to call the police." I'm like, "What's your password? What's your password?" Once, like, I kept calling him, and I was trying to, like, just make sure that we all was okay. So, like, that's when I'm just screaming his name. I knew, like, once he wasn't answering me, he was gone. So, like, the people from across the street, it was a store across the street, like, the people from across the street, they come over. So I'm screaming.
And then, nothing. No suspect, no arrest. The case went cold and stayed cold. What came next is the part that matters most. Recovery took months. She had to relearn ordinary things. Walking, talking, the small movements a body does without being asked. She rebuilt herself slowly, piece by piece. And when she finally spoke about it publicly, she did not speak with bitterness. She spoke about faith. She said she believed she had been brought back for a reason. Sit with that. A young woman survives the unthinkable, loses a piece of her hearing and her sight, buries someone she cared about, and walks out the other side believing she was spared on purpose. That is a clean second chance. The rarest thing a person in that world is ever offered. The only question left was what she would do with it. And the answer would take her right back through the same door that nearly closed on her for good. For a while, it looked like she chose right. She went back to work. The clients returned. The chair filled up again. She kept telling her story online, and people listened, because a survivor with a gift is a powerful thing to watch. The salon dream was still alive, and now it carried weight behind it. Proof. She had been to the edge and come back working. Everything she needed was already in her hands. Think about what that future actually looked like. Her own salon, a brand built on a name people across Birmingham already knew. A young woman who could have stood in front of a room of girls just like her and said, "I came from where you come from, and I made something that lasts." A mentor, a business owner, a legacy with her name on the door. It was all reachable. That is what makes this so hard to watch. Because the other road never let go. The nightlife stayed. The circles stayed. The same fast, loud, uncontrolled energy that had nearly cost her everything once. She could not seem to put it down. And slowly, quietly, the cracks started to show. In October of 2023, she was arrested and charged. Bond was set at $40,000, and she posted it. A 21-year-old beauty professional covering a bond like that in cash. To the people already whispering about where her money came from, it answered nothing and confirmed everything they wanted to believe. The builder and the lifestyle were no longer two separate roads. They were collapsing into one. She had the gift. She had the second chance. She had a future most people only ever dream about. And still, she kept choosing the one thing pulling against all of it. On January 10th, 2024, both roads finally met. For the last time. Because the next time Mia Nickson went live, the whole city would be watching. And within 30 minutes, the woman everyone thought they knew would be at the center of a mystery that took more than a year and a name nobody expected to even begin to solve. January 10th, 2024. Early morning hours. Mia went live on Facebook. She was sitting in her car, parked in the driveway of her family's home on the 800 block of Greencrest Turn, in Crestwood, the same neighborhood that raised her, the place she should have been safest. A man who went by Youngster joined the stream, and it turned fast. These two were not strangers. They moved through the same circles, the same scene, the same Birmingham nights. So when the old allegations came up again, the talk about her supposedly setting people up, neither of them backed down. The argument played out live in front of an audience for anyone who happened to be watching. Then the stream ended, and Mia stayed in her car. Around 1:45 in the morning, officers were called to that block for a report of someone shot. When they arrived, they found Mia in the front seat, unresponsive. She was pronounced gone right there, in the driveway, in the home she grew up in. Other people were inside the house. None of them were harmed. Roughly 30 minutes. That is all that separated the end of the live from the call to police. Investigators said early that this was not random. Mia had been targeted. Someone, they believed, knew exactly where she would be, and the internet did what the internet always does. It decided. Within the hour, everyone had the same suspect. The man from the live. The argument. The timing that felt far too clean to be coincidence. He was online almost immediately, defending himself, insisting it wasn't him, pointing to where he was and how the story didn't add up. The whole city was sure. The guy from the Facebook Live had to be the one. They were wrong. Because the man everyone screamed about was never officially named a person of interest. Not then. Not later. The real answer was still more than a year away, buried inside a case so much larger than one driveway that even the detectives working it did not yet understand the full shape of what they were chasing. For 13 months, Mia's case sat quiet. No suspect. No closure. Just a family waiting, and a city that thought it already knew. Then, on February 25th, 2025, Birmingham police announced an arrest. The name wasn't Youngster. It was Damien McDaniel, 22 years old. A man who was already in custody, held without bond, on an entirely separate set of matters. He was charged with intentional murder in Mia's case, and that was only the beginning of it. Because as investigators kept pulling the thread, McDaniel's name connected to far more than one driveway. Police would go on to link him to a series of cases across the city, a scope authorities described as tied to roughly 18 lives lost and dozens of others injured. Some of it, they said, was being examined as murder for hire. He has not been convicted. The charges, for now, remain charges, and his cases are still moving through the courts. But step back from the names and the numbers for one moment. A girl with a gift, a second chance she was handed and believed in, a future she could have touched with her own hands, gone in the front seat of a car, in the driveway where she grew up. So here is what her story leaves on the table for you. If you keep walking the road you are walking right now, are you headed somewhere that lasts, or somewhere that ends young and lost? Are you excusing the very thing that could quietly take your life or your career? And the gift you carry, the ambition, the dream, have you built a real plan for it? Something that outlives you, something others can point to. Mia ran out of time to answer that. You haven't. In our next case, we go inside the 18. The full reach of the man behind that arrest, the victims the city is still mourning, and the courtroom fight that could decide whether any of it ends in the maximum penalty Alabama law allows. You do not want to miss it.